Hey YouTube, let me share my Ignite Blast Rain Falconer build with you real quick. While my Falcon is soloing this campaign boss, I'll explain you the build as best as I can as a new player in last Epoch. So now that you know how the build works, let's talk about the skill tree for a second. And by the way, feel free to make use of the timestamps to skip around the video. So the build revolves heavily around fire damage and applying Ignite and Frailty on hit with Blast Rain, which is the modified trap. On top of that, I stack Mechanic over Mechanic over Mechanic. So I'm using Cinder Strike as well. Most of the time, just spam. So I will show you, I explain the rotation now and I show it then in gameplay, okay? So you can follow it a little bit better. Since maybe you are a new player like me, I have only around 100 hours in this game. I played only one character to around level 90 before. I always engage the pact with 1 or 2 shots of Cinder Strike. That gives a crazy buff called Oil Coating. And this will increase any further fire damage I do per stack. And gives penetration 30%. So this is absolutely bonkers, okay? And I can attack super fast because of the way I spec my passive skill points. And Oil Coating also grants additional fire throwing damage. Now that's what I meant in the intro, because I use the fire mollies. And they have a 100% chance to ignite enemies. And they have a 100% chance to give mobs a frailty, okay? They can also slow them, which will come in handy later in Endgame, like level 90 plus. More about that when I talk about the passives. More area and so on. So this, I will never ever use this. This is not on my bar. I use this only for leveling. Really strong, by the way. If you wanted to level this build, I highly recommend you the mollies, but go with poison. Maybe respec later. But yeah, I spec like it passively, and they get procced by the bird. The bird can drop them. And since I'm spamming so many arrows and so many traps, I spec the whole skill tree here for the traps. So, long story short, the traps can proc traps, and those traps will fling acid flasks on nearby enemies. Like when you have a map where there is lower density, you can clearly see it. Like it's just funny, it's just hilarious. And yeah, so I have 2 sources in the build which proc the flask, hence will give me frailty and ignite. Okay. And yeah, and it scales and scales and scales. The further the level you gain and the higher you go into the tiers of the monolith and better gear and stuff, I think this has potential. I'm only level 67. The build performs ridiculously well. I mean, it destroys everything. That's what it is, okay? I'm proud of myself. I came up with this on my own. I have a few points remaining here. Because, like, I swap items sometimes, which grant plus skills, right? So I would spec the last points either or. You could max out this one, so you can spam Blast Rain more, because this costs a lot of mana. I talk about the sustain in a second when I go about the gear and the passives. I would max out this to get the proc more frequently, right? And eventually max out this. Like when I get a level up, I will for sure have this on 4 out of 4. Also, when a trap triggers, which is all the time because we spam Blast Rain, it's all it does. It rains traps from the sky which explode immediately. It will reset the ability from the Falcon. This is mainly used for having buffs for me and like saving me and giving a like throwing the things, throwing the mollies, and also, in my opinion, like the reason to play a Falconer. That's like the Slayer from Path of Exile. I like the Slayer when I played like a Vervant or rather a Cyclone. Yeah, Bird of Prey, it gives a kill threshold, so the rotation would be I just go ham, light them up, right? Get the buff with Cinder Strike. Maybe relocate, then spam Blast Rain. Then I get all the buffs, etc. When I see the mobs get low, since I know I have the 3 kill threshold, I click Bird, rinse and repeat. Engage the next pack, do the same. Light them up, spam. If necessary, relocate. when they get low, press bird to get the kill threshold. That's the machine. That's the absolute killing machine, dude. It's a scary build. I can only imagine what this can do with like absolute min-max gear. Yeah, and max level character. In terms of gear, maybe should start off with the stats here. Maybe someone can answer me this in the comments. I really don't know. Does like crit chance and crit damage, is that good for my fire damage? Like, can my ignite crit or whatever? Can my ignite dots crit? Like, I really don't know, man. Like, I tried different setups and I don't feel a big difference. So I'm not sure if it works, but I stack as much fire damage, just flat fire damage as I can. Also flat bow damage and things like this. But yeah, I have at the moment 421 fire damage. Thanks to some insane crafts. This is, even though I play Trade League, I'm not high tier enough to buy the good stuff yet, so the only item I bought was Dragon Song. You can see this on the little icon. It says rank 3 next to the level requirement. So yeah, it's basically a scuffed solo self-found character. As of now, I'm rank 4 now. The first thing I will trade is idols. I bought this one as well. So yeah, an idol and the bow is the only I bought so far, and the build works really, really good. So this stuff is all self-found and crafted. So I have 100 fire damage here. I found this insane ring bro, which leveled up. It had like Weaver's Will 11. I found 2 of those so far. The other one was different. He had block chains and stuff. Way different, right? Yeah, freeze rate multiplier does nothing for my build, but increased fire damage does. I crafted this one. Get like a triple fire damage roll. Can I get like a 4 times fire damage roll? Yeah, whatever. Frailty on hit, really good. All res. Some run walk boots. Crafted belt with like a little bit of health. And also, if I press a potion, I cleanse alignments. So it's like cannot be frozen from D2 or so. This ring, bro, insane. So after this, I'm gonna talk about the passives. Yeah, the bird will leech life for me. Yeah, this ring absolutely enhances this, right? Crazy. Ribbons of blood. My gloves, increased mini damage, endurance threshold, some resistances. Plus skills on the helm. 2 to fire skills on the bow. 2 to throwing attacks for the molly and stuff. Very bad. We'll trade for this, easy peasy. But those are expensive, man. Good quiver is expensive on the trade market on Bazaar. Appearance, I spent 15 bucks on the set. Why not? Blessings. I'm at the beginning of Endgame, not really. I spec'd as much attack speed as I could find, basically. So I maxed this. I have 1 in here. I maxed evasion, really good. This is a occurring theme in the build. Taking while moving, haste, and so on. And 1 point into sapping strikes. Really important. So Cinder Strike can leech a little bit of mana. Even though it says only 2. It helps. It helps. I have several little sources of mana sustain built in my build. Then I have 5 points into Blade Dancer just to increase the movement speed, because that's right off the get-go. Combo with agility. And then I went into Falconer. Got 5 out of 5 Raptor Wings. This is my main source of haste. Haste is up all the time. As soon as you engage, bird attacks, buff is up. Then I have points here to unlock this one. Just more defenses and dodge, gives a threshold. I'm relatively tanky. Like, it's really fun. The build is fun. I'm not dying much. It's really, really cool. 4 points here to unlock the mana gain on dodge. So that's another resource mechanic that helps. Maxed out ranges mark, no brainer, using a bow. And also the trap now scales with bow damage, so this is GG. 5 out of 5 blast radius to make the blast rain on all those traps that rain down have a big AoE. Also the mollies that get spawned and get dropped by the bird. 1 point in Coordinated Fate. In the example here, ability 1 is my blast rain. So I get a Silver Shroud now and then, which helps with survivability. 1 into in this one. This is really, really important in terms of how the gameplay flow is on this build, because it works better together with aerial assault, with the movement skill of the Falconer. I maxed out this. Increases pretty much everything. Just flat damage here, dodge, I maxed this. I had only 3 points here to unlock the ability, but since I found the ring, since I found this ridiculous life leech ring, right, which is perfect with this in combination with this ability, I will eventually with higher level put points in here. To be fair, I tried maxing Tailwind, and I tried maxing Needle-like Precision, right? But I feel like my build, it's not really a crit build. I'm not really a crit build, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm destroying entire screens as it is right now. So I just have to run through the echoes. I could probably, don't want to overestimate myself with my build here, but I could probably clear corruption 150 easily with the setup as it is as of right now. So I don't feel the need for this one. Increased effect of haste. I always have haste, so it works really well together. And I max Tailwind because the same theme, damage taken, less damage taken while moving, more movement speed. More movement speed means damage. Like, it's ridiculous. It stacks up so bad. It gotta ramp up a little bit, but yeah. It almost gets to a point where it's too fast. It would be better to play this build on a gamepad or highly experimental because I don't know. I don't have the level yet. But I was asking myself, how can I enhance this elemental damage further? And there's not much more in this skill tree. I think with level 90 or with level 92, I could have the following skill tree. 1 point in here. Max out strike their flank or just flat out increase damage. And there are so many sources of applying slow on hit, like the mollies that drop slow enemies and so on. So we have slow stacks. But that's a little bit too conditional as of now with my bad gear. Instead, I went in here to gain health gained on hit. So it's hard to die with this build at this moment. And even more attack speed, which feels great with Cinder Strike to get the buff all the time. And to get mana back if needed. To spam 1 or 2 more blast drains and move on. And then, like 1 more point here, and I will unlock Elemental Auras and eventually Storm Fletcher. And I will max both of those. Yeah, and that's just, there's this straight up elemental damage in percent. This straight up flat damage if they are slowed and if they have slow stacks. And that would be my endgame setup. That, like, don't you use this as a blueprint and go 1 for 1 what I did, right? I just wanted more as a, like, hive mind collective type of video, okay? So also, if you have ideas to how to make the build better or whatever, feel free to make use of the comment section. Maybe you play a similar build and you can like pick out 1 or 2 things for your build or whatever. As I mentioned, this is my kitchen table homebrew build, okay? Found some gear with fire damage and I was like, what's actually in the skill tree with fire damage and so on. You see the mana sustain is iffy, but I'm level 67 and I don't have good gear, so with further level you should be able to spam this just non-stop, best case scenario. That's really good. Let's see the damage on the mage here. Let's get some mana. Where is he? There he is. But yeah, you get the idea. They just get nuked. They just get nuked, right? If I would have the sustain going, they would be just insta-kill. You can also not skill that the traps go instantly up. That's also fun. Makes it a fun playstyle. If you don't use impact trigger, you can be just like a mortar and just dump mines everywhere on the map. Let's try Dive Bomb on the boss. I wanted to test this a little bit. It's really good against objective, it's really good against bosses, because of the kill threshold, the culling strike from the bird. It has ridiculous AoE clear, because of the Molotovs that proc from the bird, and from the traps, which are now more like a Reign of Arrow type situation. There's so much going on in this build, yeah, and that's just the beginning, right? Yeah, I thought I'd share my build real quick. I hope you liked the video. Thanks for watching, and I guess I'll catch you in the next one. Later!